And I'll do a quick clip for her later for the first pieces. Okay, so the possible mindset, ability to see multiple outcomes, helps when you feel trapped with your life and money. So I was talking about when we have a certain expectation, we get very fixated on that expectation, and then that expectation doesn't play out. We get very upset, we get angry, we get stressed, we get anxious. My mom falls into this a lot. She has a certain way everything needs to happen, and if something throws it off by even 5 minutes, it throws her for a loop. She gets very stuck on a certain expectation, and it almost controls her entire day, living to that expectation. But as some of you know or have experienced with retirement, there's only so much we can control, and we need to be able to adapt and adjust to things. Whether it's the market's not cooperating when you retire, or whether you are forced out of your job before you thought you were going to leave, or maybe that dream house you thought just isn't in the budget right now. We need to adapt, be able to pivot, adjust, and be able to keep moving forward without feeling like we failed or that we gave up on something. So being able to always see different outcomes or different options is really important. I was just on the phone with a woman who's in her 50s, just beginning the divorce process, and I was explaining to her so many women in their shoes feel very trapped. They feel trapped, like they don't have an option with what to do with their house. They are stuck on their husband's alimony. They feel like they just can't make a decision. They can't go on vacation. They can't do anything for themselves. There's no money. There's nothing they can do. And then they start to feel almost claustrophobic. They feel trapped. They feel alone. Then they start to isolate themselves. So just always being able to see, well, this could play out in so many different ways. I'm not going to attach myself to any of those outcomes, because then you're giving up the, not the control, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm stretching here. Sorry, ladies. But I was very bad with this too, just like my mom, getting very attached to, say like I saw a woman that I really wanted to work with. I'm like, oh, she would be great for the club. Things didn't work out, and then you have the huge letdown. You're like, oh. But then somebody right around the corner came in to fill that spot and was an even better fit for the club. Okay, so it's almost like it's not being so attached, because then you can't be fully present. You can't adjust quickly and efficiently. And it's also being attached to the past, I've noticed. When we are attached to something that's happened to us in the past, maybe it's hurt us, or we can't move past it for some reason, it's preventing us from moving forward too. So I'm very big on not being attached to any expectations or outcomes. Okay. The gratitude mindset. This has been proven to live, so you can live longer, healthier lives. You become better at problem solving and are more likely to do meaningful things, which is very interesting. And gratitude is an immediate energy shifter. So whenever you feel bad about yourself, bad about your money, retirement, health, think of one thing you can be grateful for, and it will immediately shift your energy and your perspective and your mindset. And then you can start to make it a habit, a new system, that whenever you feel bad about something, you think of a few things you're grateful for. We're going to do something similar for our blog for Thanksgiving. Our Thanksgiving post is going to be stuff the turkey and stuff the pig, like your piggy bank. And it's whenever you feel the need to go spend money for something holiday related, think of 3 things you're grateful for, and then see if you still need to buy that thing. Chances are you probably don't need to. But it's a good way, again, to keep us in check. Community. Again, I didn't just put together communities for the heck of it. There's a lot that went into why I run community programs. So, community is associated with mental and cognitive resilience, reduction of chronic pain, lower blood pressure, and improved cardiovascular health. That to me is, again, really freaking cool. That a community can have this many good, healthy side effects to it. Isolation during times of high stress can be more deadly than obesity. And I see this a lot with women who maybe they got injured or they're not feeling good about themselves and they start to isolate themselves. They get depressed and they check out, right? They don't call me back, email me back, anything. And it takes a huge toll on their health. And that we actually just lost a client because of this. When was that? 2 days ago. Her husband was a car mechanic fixing a car. The car fell on him and he passed away. His wife, she really couldn't handle it, and she withdrew herself more and more and more. Got very depressed, isolated, started drinking, had a bad stroke from all of this, and never made it out of the coma. So I have seen it firsthand with clients, with family members and friends. So I know isolation is one of the worst things you can do to yourself. But it's also something that we're natural to do. When I see people, they're in between jobs or something's going on with their marriage, they withdraw themselves, they get depressed, and it does take a toll on them. So whenever you feel that way, that's when you need to reach out to somebody, anybody. Let them know. So Dr. Julian Hott-Lunstad is a researcher of isolation versus community. Show that individuals should not only prepare for retirement in a financial way, but in a social way as well. And it's something I get asked a lot about, the traditional financial planning, and if it's failed women because of how much I push for things like our club, right? The non-traditional aspect of it, or approach to it. And I tell them that the traditional financial planning way doesn't take into account being social or our health and how much social beings we are, how we thrive on connection, and also our health, right? The healthier we are, the less retirement is going to cost us. The more our health is affected, the more it's going to impact our money. So those are two big ways where I think traditional financial planning hasn't really failed people, but hasn't done us justice, because it doesn't take into account the social side of retirement and the health side of it. Support mindset. The power of healing in groups. Again, social support is as important to longevity as healthy eating and exercise. Support is crucial in a learning environment, which is why we have schools, which is why you learn in a school environment with people who are going through exactly what you're going through, asking questions that maybe you're not thinking to ask or too scared to ask, intimidated. Or you can go to them to ask, right? Social support is really important when we're learning something new. And again, it brings out the connection, right? We aren't designed to know all the answers ourselves. We are designed to connect with one another. So me giving you value makes me feel valued, and vice versa. You helping me gives me value, and you feel value. You feel like you have purpose. And to me, that's what our whole world is about, giving value to one another and having that connection. Healthy stress environment. So the difference between good stress working for you and bad stress working against you. So you think about a project you're working on, let's say for work, and you're excited about it, it's pushing you out of your comfort zone, you're learning new things, you're working with people in new aspects. That can be good stress. Bad stress is when it starts to eat away at you and you can't sleep, it's affecting your health, your eating, your relationships, bad stress. But what's interesting is that we aren't designed to think negatively, which is weird because usually that's the first way we go, is negative. Oh, you know, I was late to work, and then my coffee spilled, and then somebody yelled at me, and then I made a mistake, and it's just been such a bad day, one thing after another. But you never actually feel good when you start thinking that way. And it's because we weren't designed to think that way. We were designed to think positively. And then we have the expectancy mindset. I know there's a lot of mindsets here, but you can kind of see how they all work together and how they all fit. So the expectancy mindset, positive expectations will create good realities, and negative expectations will create bad realities, right? Kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. If I think a certain way, it's probably going to happen. Well, like if you think a negative way, you're just looking for the negative things, right? You want to be proven right, which is another thing that goes along with this. Our brain always wants to be right. So if I tell myself I'm not going to make it to work on time, well, I want to prove myself right, even though I do want to make it there on time, but I'm telling myself I'm not going to make it there on time, and I'm going to prove that right. If that makes sense. Willpower mindset. Mindset to persevere even if you don't feel like persevering. So I always think of like at the gym or on my runs when I think of this, the willpower. Because willpower is like a muscle. Right? It does fatigue over time, and you have to learn what is that point of fatigue for you. So observe when your thoughts turn to wanting to give up. So I'm on a run, and all of a sudden I'm like, I just want to turn around. I just want to walk up the hill and not run up the hill. When does that usually hit? And what triggers me? What's pushing me to keep going? Is it because I'm training for something? Is it because I want to prove myself wrong? Is it because I'm trying to get in shape for, say, after the baby, I want to get back in shape? Right? What is motivating you for this? What's the willpower? What is your willpower triggers and plugs that motivate you to keep going? And observing what is that point of fatigue. Spiritual. Where there is purpose, there is hope. So add purpose to your day in retirement. Choose to live in love and make others feel loved. When we have a purpose like that, to live in love and to make others feel loved and respected and valued, that really helps with our mental health, right? You think about all the times when you've helped somebody, how that shifts your energy for the day, for the week, whatever it is. So spiritual can be, whether it's reading spiritual books, going to churches, even checking out different religions too, and just getting a new respect for different religions, that type of stuff. But there is a spiritual mindset. So what drives you spiritually? What are your beliefs? And how can you add them to your day-to-day life in retirement? The way you think is so powerful, it changes your genetic expression, constantly restructuring your brain. This is really cool because if we do, say for those 63 days to reform a habit, if you do that for 63 days, you're going to be constantly restructuring your brain. I read a book, it was a few years ago, and we did do a blog post for it, but the doctor, one of the authors of the doctor, says that if we aren't in constant state of movement, we are decaying. So our brain cells, our muscles, our bones, everything, as long as we're moving, is constantly almost becoming new again, right? Getting rid of the old, we're creating new. And that's really cool when you think about as we age, as long as we stay active mentally and physically, we are constantly getting new bones, new muscles, new brain cells, and even restructuring our brain, our thinking to work better for us, which is so important in retirement as we age, to stay to stay healthy, feeling young, feeling like we can do these things. And I love this quote, "Today you are you, that is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you," by Dr. Seuss, which is very true. But it goes back to, we tend to get put into a box as we grow up. Our parents tell us, well, you're really good at math. You should go to college for math and become an accountant. You're like, okay, well, that's what, I respect you and your opinion. You're my role model as a parent, so that's what I'm going to do. And then this becomes our self-worth, and we come to a point in our life where we realize, well, do I really enjoy doing this or not really? Is it just something that I was pushed to do because I was good at it? Or people told me I would make a lot of money doing this? Or be successful doing this? And we just kind of put our head down and plow through. And that's why I love retirement, because you don't have to live in that box anymore. You can do whatever it is that you want to once you retire. You can figure out, who am I? Who was I told to be versus who am I actually? What does that person look like? What are my values? What are my money values? Is success to me defined by how much net worth I have? Or is success to me defined by I don't have to live paycheck to paycheck and I can still have the lifestyle I want? Or is it that I can stop working at any point because I've done enough saving? Maybe that's success to you. What is success? What is driving you every day to get up out of bed? So I want to take a few minutes and I want you to journal. And almost write yourself a letter. I do this with my business coach. Whenever we would start a mentorship, we would write ourselves a letter. We would get that letter in 6 months to see, how have I changed? Have I hit my goals? You know, things that I thought were important to me when I started this journey, are they still important to me? Which is always interesting. So I want you to think about, who do you want to be in retirement? Who are you? Who's you? What does that person look like, feel like, dress like? Like, I want you to really picture, what are the clothes that you're going to be wearing? What are you going to be doing day to day? What do you want to feel? Do you want to feel grateful every day? Do you want to feel excited every day? Do you want to feel peaceful every day? So I want you to almost become this person. Think about it. Write her down. You know, what's going to be your wardrobe? Is it going to be yoga pants and a sweatshirt every day? Is it going to be jeans and a nice t-shirt or a nice sweater or something to go to volunteer with? What are you going to wear? What are you going to feel when you wake up every day or at the end of the day? What do you want to look like? Because you can almost become a new person. Not who your parents told you to be. Not who your spouse wants you to be or wanted you to be. But just you. What drives you, what makes you feel loved, and what gives you purpose. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to go through this and think about it. You might think it's cheesy, but just stay in there and really think about it. Alright, if you aren't done yet, just finish up your last thought. Can anybody share what their purpose, they want their purpose to be in retirement in the chat? We do have a chat thing, you might need to find it. What is your purpose for retirement? I'm trying to think of what mine would be. I'm so far away from it. But I know I would want to use my experience from my career and expertise and everything to maybe help young women, young girls. Georgia, it's a similar thing, right? I want to share my talents and gifts with others. It's hard to think about what that would look like. But I know once we get clear on what the purpose is, we're much better at finding the opportunities and knowing when we get, sometimes I get inundated with a lot of opportunities and understanding, okay, which one is the most aligned with my purpose and my values. And then you can, the other ones are just kind of noise and distractions. But we get better at, and letting other people know too what we're looking to do and stuff. So I could see I would love to have a nonprofit or a foundation for young women. Like I'm speaking to a bunch of Girl Scout troops, so I'll see how that goes. But that ties into it. Young girls about money and being business owners and entrepreneurs and stuff. That could be a very cool thing to do. All right, let's go on. So I want you now. We'll take another maybe 2 minutes. What are your top 5 retirement dreams? Is it a new house? I know, Susan, you've been working on a house at the beach. What are your 5 retirement dreams? And one of them could be being able to live securely with their money and not worrying about running out of money. It could be being able to move to the beach, move out of state, get in a travel program. My gym does a question of the week. They have this big whiteboard and it's something silly like, what's your favorite ice cream flavor? But this week is, what's your bucket list? And I found it interesting that everyone related it to a trip. Like, why is everyone's bucket list item traveling somewhere? Is it supposed to be? They go, no, but I think that's just where everyone's thoughts go. So it could be a trip that you've been wanting to do. I told them that my bucket list item was to get the baby out. Healthy, safe, get the baby out. It could be, for me, the dream would be to create a foundation to give back in a big way after having a career, or traveling the world speaking. I don't know if that would be considered retirement. That would be my refinement, my transition dream. Let's see, what else is there? I have a few women who want RVs so they can see the States. There's so many places in the States that they haven't been able to see yet. I'm sure part of the dream isn't the nursing home, but maybe to give you peace of mind, it is to have a plan for the nursing home so that you can have focus on your other dreams. So that might be more of a bucket list thing. So top dreams. And this is what we're going to work on during our event in December 10th. We are going to start to really try to tackle these retirement dreams and make them a reality for you, get an action plan in place for them, all that good stuff. But for now, what is stopping you from obtaining them? Is it you're just waiting for the right house? You're waiting for the right job to get you over the hump to retirement? Think about the other women in here. Maybe it's a transition career that you're waiting for. Or maybe you just don't know. A lot of times we have dreams and we think, oh, there's no way I'm going to be able to accomplish that dream. So we kind of put on the back burner. We don't think about it. We don't research it. We don't know what it would cost us. It's just kind of a pipe dream and we let it sit there and die there. So maybe it's just knowing what that would cost you, what it would look like, what needs to happen for you to obtain it. Exactly the next question. What needs to happen for you to live out your dreams? Who can help you? Is it me? Is it another professional, an expert, somebody who's on our team? We just got a estate attorney to join our club team. I'll be talking about her in a little bit. But who can help you? Is it a health and fitness coach? Is it a realtor? Is it a mortgage person? Or is it having a team meeting, which I'm doing one tomorrow with a club member from last club, with our estate attorney, her and myself. She's also bringing her mom's estate documents, so we're going to do a team meeting to make sure that what she wants to happen in her retirement plan is aligned with her estate documents for while she's living with her power of attorney, but also if she's no longer here. And then how far are you from it? Can you measure it? Can you measure the money, the time, the beliefs? One of the most proud things I am of the club members are when they set their retirement date. So then we know exactly how far we are from it in regards to time. We know how far we are from it for our money, how much we need to get saved up and accumulated. And we also know what beliefs we need to have to execute on it, to make sure it does happen, to commit to it. Again, we're going to go through a whole worksheet during our meeting in December that's going to play into all of these things, and especially the beliefs we need to have. One of the beliefs can be that I've done all the planning I need to so that I can retire on this date without worrying about the money. That might be your belief, right? I have all these estate documents I need in order so that if anything happens to me, I'm taken care of. That's a belief. Okay. But the more we can measure it, the easier it is to plan for it. The easier it is to create a money action plan, to implement that plan every day, and to track our progress, especially to see if we need to tweak our actions to get us there, or maybe we want to get there faster. It almost becomes like a game. Missing pieces. So, mentor, who's going to guide you? Who's going to keep you moving forward? How committed are you to these dreams? So one woman, and she still kind of plays around with the idea about, I read about it in the book Time to Refine, but the baker, she's like, yeah, maybe someday I'll have a bakery. I'm like, Joanne, you have arthritis in your knees, you hate the hours of a bakery, do you really want a bakery? Right? It's kind of it's a dream, but she's just not that committed to it. Right? So how committed are you to these dreams? And accountability. What will hold you accountable? Who will hold you accountable? And maybe that's me. Maybe that is a close friend, somebody who's going through this with you. It could be, you could be each other's accountability buddies. My business coach actually just hired me to be an accountability coach for her mentorship women because she picked me and my two good friends because we were always the most engaged, which meant we always got the best results out of everybody of what she told us to do. And I was kind of laughing with her about it because her program's expensive. I think it's like around $12,000 or $14,000 to work with her for 6 months in a mentorship program. So you don't get one-on-one time with her. But I'm like, these women pay all this money, and yet you have to give them all these incentives to just show up. Like, if I paid that amount of money, which I did, not quite that much, it was cheaper back then, you can bet your butt I'm going to be at every single event. I even missed Andy's first birthday to go to one of her events. But now she has to hire accountability coaches to make sure that all the women are accountable to their own dreams. But that's what happened. Life gets in the way. We get really busy. We take time to take care of a loved one, or for me, right, to have a baby. These things happen, and all of a sudden our commitment that we thought was at a 10 now falls back to a 5, 6, and then our accountability starts to go. So it's important to keep, what I always do, keep our goals at the forefront of our minds, to remember why we're doing all this work. What is our incentive? Okay. So I want you to think about, and again, we're going to work on this, as I said at the bottom here, we're going to have hot seats for our last event in December, our last year event. Write down your next steps to live out your dreams. Okay? And maybe it's just to sit down with me to go through them and strategize about them and put an action plan together. Put a time frame for each one of your dreams. If you aren't clear on the next steps, you can pop into the WhatsApp chat to ask, or when you come to the live event, you can ask during your hot seat. Okay. But just start putting the pieces together. Is it to research prices of building your dream home? Is it to talk with other people who have moved out of state? Research different towns to live in? Is it to just set a retirement date that you're going to stick to? What are some steps so that we can get clear on what needs to happen to live out your dreams? Okay. So we will end with this. Our final event for 2019 is December 10th. That is our live event at our office in Somerville, 5:30 to 7:30. You'll get an email December 1st, so you can RSVP to it. January, we are doing an exclusive interview with our new estate attorney on our team, Stacy Valentine. She's also going to be at our next live event in February, our wine tasting event. You also get a member bonus. You get to receive a free consultation with Stacy. She will either go through your current documents with you or sit down with you to see what, if you don't have anything, what you should be thinking about, almost putting down in your own estate action plan of what you need to think about, what you should be doing, all these things. And it's always good if your documents are a few years old to meet with her and see, because the laws change and we always need to make sure we're on top of that, because something in your will from 10 years ago probably doesn't apply today or the way that you want it to today. So definitely take advantage of her. If you go to our club bonus section of our website and use the code word STRONGER, I'll put that in the chat, you'll get her information there. And then she's also going to be at our wine tasting event on February 27th. We pushed the date back so it doesn't interfere with President's Day weekend. So in January, since that's my C-section is scheduled for January 16th, so crazy, we're going to have the interview, so you're still going to get content from the club, and you can also do the free consultation with Stacy at any point. She's very generously waiving her $300 fee for you ladies. And then she's also going to be there. You can meet her live at our wine tasting event. So February 27th, I think it's going to be at Delicious Heights in Bedminster, which is a really central location because we have people coming from up by me, Morris County, Somerset County. I think that'll be a great night. We also have a lot of other professional business women. We have a health and fitness coach, an accountant, a woman who helps with downsizing and moving when you have a lot of stuff. She's coming. She also helps people like your parents if they're moving and they have a lot of stuff and you don't have the time or the energy to help them with it. So there's going to be a lot of good professionals for you ladies there to meet and talk with and see if they can help you at all. So remember, look for December 1st for our email so you can RSVP to these. And also in our club portal, the club bonus side, you can get Stacy's information, or you can just pop into the chat and I'll put it in there for you guys. All right. So hopefully I'll see everybody on December 10th. I'll be very big and uncomfortable by then. But I would love to see everybody before the holidays, and I hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving if I don't see you or talk with you. All right. I'll stay on for a little bit if anybody has any questions. And I'm also probably going to stay on just to add to this recording the first few slides that we missed for the women who aren't here. All right, so feel free to leave. I'm just going to keep this going so it's all on one video for them.
Okay. Thanks, Jessica.
Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
Thanks, Susan. Thanks, Amy. All right, so for you ladies who are watching our recording, we missed the first few slides, so we're going to go back through them for you. But I wanted to keep it all in one recording for you to keep it easy. So today's session is very different than what we typically do, but it's very important for our mental and physical health, because that in the end affects our wallet, our money. So in Dr. Caroline Leaf's book, Think, Learn, Succeed, she talks about detoxing your brain to gain clarity over what is holding you back. We get inundated with information all day long, and we usually do our sessions in the evening, and by then it's like we're fried. We can't take any more information in, and it happens a lot when we're trying to move forward with something, but we just can't. So it's detoxing your brain. And a big piece of that is journaling. Journaling is a great way to detox our brain. She recommends it for 60 minutes each day. I will do 4 to 5 minutes a few times a week. That's what I can commit to right now and do on a regular basis. But I start there, and I usually do go longer. Right? If I can commit to 4 to 5 minutes, I usually will journal for longer than that. But it's important to take notice of when our thoughts get stuck. There's a reason we don't want to think about something. There's a reason we are not going deep with something. Whether it's a relationship we don't want to deal with, or a situation, or a job we really hate, there's a reason we won't let ourselves go there. Why do we keep getting stuck on these? And what are the thoughts that keep holding you back? Is it, I don't deserve this, I feel guilty for making this type of money when no one else in my family is making this money? What's holding you back? Because usually we have a script in our mind that whenever we get an ounce of success, whatever that success is, personal, business, financial, we have a belief, something we're going to tell ourselves that it's going to be, you don't deserve this, you're not good enough, you have plenty already, you're being greedy. And then we take a step back and we hold ourselves back. So I love this concept of the superposition state in our mind. And it's deciding which thoughts to accept and which to discard. So it's almost putting a pause. Whenever a thought comes into your mind, you put a pause and you say, should I accept this or not? Is this going to help me, or is this going to hurt me? Is this going to make me go down a downward spiral where I just get into a deep depression? Or is this going to energize me, motivate me, get me to move forward? And always observing each thought as they come in to help end haphazard thinking. Because haphazard thinking leads to haphazard money management, haphazard daily living, right? You try to do 5 different things at once and you accomplish nothing at all. Okay? So observing each thought as they come in to end haphazard thinking. The benefits. So frequent, positive, and challenging learning experiences can increase your intelligence within 4 days. That's freaking awesome. And I was interviewed for our Starters TV platform, and it's like a TED Talk, and they're very big on learning and innovation. And at the end, I had to answer a question, what is learning to me? And I said, learning is inspiration to me. Because when I'm learning something or reading, researching, talking with a professional, and I learn something new, it gives me new energy. It gets me excited. It gets me passionate to share it with you guys, to see how it can help my women. When I'm not doing that type of stuff, I feel very flat. My energy is low. And I can just see myself going into kind of a funk almost. And it's true with companies. The average lifespan of a company is 60 years. It's really not that long. But the companies like Amazon, Google, Facebook, who are very innovative and always are pushing the envelope, pushing their employees to learn, find better ways to do things instead of just doing things the way they did 30, 40 years ago because that's how we've always done it. I mean, the companies that are constantly trying to change and keep up with society, they're the ones that are going to hang in there longer than 60 years. You can also experience significant structural changes in the brain's cortex. And so Dr. Caroline Leaf goes into a lot of different mindset work. And this is important, and she's been proven to reverse the effects of Alzheimer's. So I focus on this during the session because one of our biggest retirement dreams is to have our mental health and our physical health. And they do go hand in hand. As long as we are constantly moving physically and learning mentally, we are creating new cells and almost giving rebirth to our bodies time and time again. And that's what's going to help us keep our quality of life as long as we can. So time mindset. Everything is based on memories you have built into your brain. It takes 21 days to build long-term thinking plus 42 days to build it into a habit. And it kind of goes back to like what comes in second nature to us. I've always showered a certain way, and I've come out clean, so I'm always going to do it that way, even though it might not be the most efficient way to do it. I always cook a certain way, even though it takes me 10 minutes just to get all of my bowls and pans and everything out onto the counter to get started for it. But I've always had my kitchen that way. It's kind of, if you think about everything you do in a day as a different system, you'll start to realize how ridiculous some of our systems are. So a system could be reorganizing your kitchen to work better for you to prepare meals so you eat out less. Or a better system for how we have our closet and our clothes so that we can see all of our options very easily instead of always thinking, I have a closet full of clothes and nothing to wear. Excuse me. Everything is a system that we do. Right? Even preparing for this webinar, right? I have a whole system where I keep it, where it's organized, how I record it. All that stuff is a system. And it's always about finding better systems and improving them. But we forget it takes 63 days really to form a new system. So that's why we have these uphill dreams and downhill habits. The downhill habits are when we always fall back to our second nature. You know, we think it's easier because we've always done it that way. And we don't have to learn a new system to implement or a new habit. So start thinking, it's almost taking a systems audit of everything that you do, whether it's with your money, with your investments, with your work, your personal life, everything you do is a system, and you'll start to get more conscious of, okay, is this system really working for me? Can I do, and almost challenge yourself, can I do it better? Possible mindset, ability to see multiple outcomes, helps when you feel trapped with your life and money. Okay? And it's really about not becoming attached to a certain expectation. And then you have that letdown. My mom gets very stuck on certain expectations. And if something is 5 minutes out of sync with that expectation, it throws her for a loop. So this expectation ends up controlling her entire day. And I started to be that way too, and getting very fixated on a certain way I want it to be. And realizing, I was going back to systems, there could be different systems out there, and there could be an even better one. And to not feel so attached to it. Gratitude. I'm trying to think of when. I'll go through this one just in case it wasn't covered, and then I think we're all set. So the gratitude, longer, healthier life. Gratitude is an energy shifter. The second you have a negative thought, if you think of one thing you're grateful for, it's going to completely shift your energy. You also become better at problem solving and more likely to do meaningful things. And you become more solution focused instead of problem focused. Problem focused, right, is negative thinking. You get into that downward spiral of one thing leads to another worse thing and nonstop. Becoming more solution focused. And that almost goes back to the possibility mindset, where knowing there are different outcomes and different outcomes are okay. Right? That's solution focused. Understanding, okay, I have this one problem. I want to retire in a year, but my money isn't quite where it needs to be. You could get into a spiral thinking, well, I need more money, I need more money. How am I ever going to get more money? There's no way I can get more money. I'm never going to retire at this time. That's problem focused. Solution focused would be, okay, I need to bump up my savings by X amount each month. Or I can boost my income by X amount each month. I can pay off my debt by this amount. I can move to a cheaper state, right? Now you're starting to become solution focused, and you become more grateful. You feel less trapped, and it's just a healthier way to live. Community. So obviously I'm very big on community. All my programs are community focused. They are associated with mental and cognitive resilience, a reduction of chronic pain, lower blood pressure, and improved cardiovascular health. Those are a lot of really good side effects for community. Isolation during times of high stress can be more deadly than obesity. That's crazy. But it's true, and I see it a lot, and we just had a woman pass away from this exact thing. Her husband passed away a few years ago unexpectedly. She got very depressed. She withdrew. She isolated herself, started drinking a lot, and 2 days ago she passed away. She had a stroke a few weeks ago, never came out of the coma, was on life support, and then she passed away. So I've seen, and not just with her, I've seen it with other clients who, as they got older and maybe they couldn't do what they wanted to do physically, or maybe they had a hip or knee surgery, and all of a sudden they're taken out of their daily routine, and they get depressed, they feel alone, and they withdraw more and more. And it does take a toll on their health, especially their mental health. Dr. Julian Hunt-Lundstedt, a researcher of isolation versus community, showed that individuals should not only prepare for retirement in a financial way, but in a social way as well. Which makes sense, because growing up, schools were in a community. We have our whole class. We don't have that for retirement. We don't learn traditional financial planning in a social setting. And I get this question asked a lot, especially in the press, about, has traditional financial planning failed women? And I explain it hasn't necessarily failed women, but it doesn't take into account the social aspect of it. Learning in a social way, but also in retirement how we need to be social, So we have a healthier, physically, mentally, all around retirement. It also doesn't take into effect, right, our health. It talks about planning for cost of health care. But the healthier we are, the cheaper it's going to be for us in retirement, right? Health is expensive. So if we're not in good health, it's going to be a drain on our money. So knowing we need to plan in a social way, in our health way, which is why we talk about these things so much in the club. All right. So you probably saw earlier, next workshop, our next live event is December 10th. I hope you can make it. You can go back to that slide with all the information for what's coming up for December, January, and February, our annual wine tasting night, which will be so much fun. So be on the lookout for our next email on December 1st, so you can RSVP to all of those events. And I will see you guys all soon, and happy Thanksgiving. Bye.